Um, hey Colin, it's great to see you, man. How you doing?
Oh, well, I'm doing good. As you can see, I'm on the bike. I'm 1 month from my race across America world record, where I'm going to try to ride 3,000 miles in under 6 days, me and my best friend Lucas.
Is
Um,
that all?
so that's all. So you've caught me. I'm in my last big training block, and we had this scheduled, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, but I looked at my coach's training program, and he had a 16-hour ride for me today.
Oh, jam.
Let
That's
me repeat that,
crazy.
16. So
Okay.
I started at 4:30 a.m.
Oh
this
wow. Well, I've heard of a like walking desk, but this is kind of ridiculous. I've never done a biking podcast before, but this is always a first.
so here we are, getting sweaty. I'm like, I don't know, 11 hours into this day.
Holy
But
cow, that's amazing.
yeah, getting the miles in. It's great to be here with you, my friend.
It's so incredible what you're doing. You this for sure maybe the first podcast or a video ever recorded while you're training for a bike race that I've ever done for sure. And you've done so many firsts. It's amazing. You're breaking records, climbing mountains. You just tried to go across Antarctica and had a kind of a catastrophic event there, which almost took your life, which we talked about before. But you're kind of doing a little bit safer route this time on asphalt, and there's no crevasses. Hopefully, maybe a few potholes. And
Right.
what we're doing in sort of this series is to look at how we can support you to perform at the peak level, to win the world record of crossing America the fastest ever on a bicycle, and we're doing that by looking at your biology, not just your training hours, not just your number of minutes in the seat or how many miles you rode or what power you do or what your VO2 max is, but actually also your lab work, which is really amazing. So we've used function and function health to track all your data over the last almost, God, now 6, 7, 8 months, right?
That's right.
And
Yeah.
we've learned a lot. We learned a lot about what was going on with you. When we found a bunch of stuff just to refresh people's memory, we found a lot of things that were going on. Like when we started looking, we found you had like a lot of inflammation, maybe post-exercise. You had some nutritional deficiencies. You had a little borderline thyroid function. You were low in a lot of nutrients like iodine, iron, vitamin D. Your liver was a little off, and you had a sort of a genetic condition that sort of affects your liver function, and all that really can affect your performance. And you're an elite athlete. You've like won 10 world records, climbing mountains, crossing Antarctica, rowing across the Drake Passage from Argentina to Antarctica, just crazy shit. And yet, even someone like you on Function Health Panel, we're finding stuff that is actionable, that can meaningfully impact the quality of your life, and hopefully help you break yet another world record, which is pretty cool. So, you kind of followed some of what I said. I can tell from your labs that you're not listening to everything I'm telling you to do.
I'm
Like
probably
taking your
missing a couple things. I mean,
like taking your vitamin D, which is so important. Vitamin D, we think, oh, but it's
I
important
just
for your
started back on it.
bones.
I just started
Okay,
back
okay, good, because I yelled at you about this.
on
Why, and just to help you understand, like what we're doing here for everybody is that we're trying to optimize, his biology to get peak performance. But for all of us, whether we're a professional athlete, whether we're breaking world records, whether we just want to be a business athlete and be performing at work, or whether we just want to be active in our life and do what we want to do, we need to optimize our biology. And most of us have no clue what's going on under the hood. And that's what Function's about. It's about helping people know what's going on under the hood, how to optimize their biology using deep insights from all the medical literature, from top medical scientists, from doctors, from people like myself, to help kind of tune yourself up. And we're finding amazing stuff. And everybody we're testing. But for you, I was not sort of expecting to find anything, but we found a fair bit. And we've been tuning you up over a while. We've been giving you the right dietary stuff, the supplements and so forth. And you know, I just wondered how, based on the things that we did and found last time about optimizing your nutrient levels, like your iron levels, vitamin D, and so forth, how you find your performance. And getting back to that vitamin D thing, I just before I let you roll, the vitamin D thing is so important, Colin, because your muscles depend on vitamin D to function. And so you're basically all about your muscles right now. So if your muscles aren't firing at full capacity, your performance is going to be low. Now, for a guy like you, it may not be as noticeable because you're so fit, but it's still going to maybe add a few extra minutes to your performance probably every day. So that could be a big impact for you.
No,
So
I mean,
what?
look, I'm trying to stay on top of everything. And it's funny because, at the way you've teed this up, it's like, as a professional athlete, how is his body doing? We found some stuff. And also, although I'm disciplined and I'm on this bike for 16 hours a day, and I can commit to that, sometimes just like every other person, I miss my supplement routine. I'm traveling a lot. I get out of my flow. So I'm only human too, but doing my best. And we'll definitely get back on that. In terms of, how I'm feeling, it's been interesting. Last time we spoke, it was February. It's May now. I was coming back from Antarctica and this really traumatic accident that happened over there that we found in my blood work of, spiked cortisol levels, some hormone stuff, and really using that period to recover, but I needed to recover quickly because I need to ramp up into this training phase. And so the last few months, really getting my body back and getting strong. Overall, I've felt really well, but I've had some dips. There was a moment kind of late March where I was feeling just my energy wasn't quite there. Felt like I was overreaching a little bit in terms of training. One of the things I don't know, it's anecdotal, of course, but you suggested some mitochondrial support, and I started taking MitoQ maybe 4 to 6 weeks ago, and I felt that's one of the things I feel like I've had a big shift in my energy levels. Like, I feel like I'm recovering better. Cellular vitality is there. So that's something that, as that's come into my body, not something I've ever, spent. And obviously been aware of mitochondria. I'd be interested from the doctor's perspective, but being able to take that MitoQ on a daily basis, that's the part that I've really felt my energy stores from a supplement standpoint. I felt a big difference there. I don't know if we're seeing it in the labs or not, but I definitely anecdotally have felt that, which has been great in terms of recovery and higher energy levels, consistency.
That's right. No, we talked about that. Like, how do you increase performance? And one of the things that it really matters for performance is how your mitochondria are working, which are the little factories that make energy, and they take food and oxygen, they burn them, they create ATP, and you have to create a lot of ATP to ride your bike across America. And you deplete it if you're burning so much, you're going so hard. So taking nutritional supplements that can optimize your mitochondria, like the MitoQ or CoQ10 or other things that we suggested for you, can be really, really effective. And I think, that's one of the things that I did recommend for you was taking some mitochondrial supplements, the amino acids and adrenal support and things that can help actually you just fix the energy deficits that come and optimize your flow. So that's good. Have you noticed anything else based on taking the supplements or doing the change that we recommended from looking at your function labs?
Yeah, I think that I thought the iron and the iodine that we found was pretty interesting. That was not something I had thought a lot about, I guess. And I know I love from the doctor's perspective, but it's kind of, I think we've balanced those out a little bit from where we started, 9 to 12 months ago. Which, I mean, in general, I kind of felt this energetic dip coming back from the, physical and emotional trauma of the crevasse fall. And then really over the last couple of months, being steady on my training, being steady on my recovery, and then taking what we have from a few rounds of function labs and your advice, nutrition, supplements, etc. I'm feeling a month out. I'm honestly feeling as fit as I've felt in, I'm 39 years old now. Some might say that
happy birthday.
and some might say that I'm, on the back nine of elite endurance performance. But when I compare some of my numbers on the bike to what I was doing as a professional triathlete 10 years ago, in my watts and my power numbers versus my heart rate, I'm riding strong, if not stronger than I was 10 years ago. And I've got to believe that at least some of that has to do with, the work that we've done to really look under the hood and optimize. It's been fascinating to see where I was deficient and using those function panels to really tweak and optimize. Because at this, the world record level, it's those 1%, 2%, 3% gains that make all the difference.
Right. And this is not like doping or like
Oh,
illegal
no,
stuff. This is really just like looking at your biology. Like the thing that I noticed was, the iodine was low And a lot of Americans don't eat iodized salt anymore. They eat, sea salt or whatever, and so they're not getting iodine, and they don't eat seaweed, so they don't. And then many people don't eat fish, so a lot of people are low in iodine, and iodine is the molecule you need to make your thyroid hormone. And if you're low in that, you're not making thyroid hormone. And you did actually in the original test had a sort of borderline slow functioning thyroid. And you probably are, so healthy, you may not have noticed it, but it was. And now it's much better. So your iodine levels are better and your thyroid levels have come, to back to normal. And that's great. And also your iron was quite low. And iron is really important for, and by the way, your thyroid is so important for just it's your generator. It's like your governor on your engine. So if your thyroid's low, you're just going to have, you're going to hit a wall faster. You're not going to have the energy you want. And with iron, you were, under a lot of stress, burning through a lot of, RPMs, and you might have used up a lot of red blood cells, but your iron was low. And by giving you the extra iron, your ferritin level, which is the iron stores, which was quite low, it's actually totally normal. And so you have a lot more to draw on and a lot more energy store. So I think those are really important, and your inflammation levels have come down, and everything looks a lot better on your lab test. So there wasn't really anything that jumped out at me this time, except the fact that I could tell that your vitamin D was better, but not great, because you're not consistent with your vitamin D level, taking your vitamin D. But that's okay. Your level is 35, quote normal, but the range on the lab is 30 to 100. It really should be more like 50 to 75. So you're definitely down a few points. But again, getting that up is going to help you, and also help your immune system, because as you're stressed, it's not necessarily great for your body. I mean, you're training and you think that's great, but overtraining also, it creates an immune stress, can make you more likely to get sick. So you want to get your vitamin D level up. And the other thing we notice is you your levels of cortisol were pretty good this time. Your cholesterol was up a little bit, but that can also be because of stress. When you have high stress levels, it goes up. And the other thing that we see with stress, and this, we know, for example, race car drivers, when they go around in laps for a race, their cholesterol will be higher afterwards. We also know that with stress, testosterone goes down, right? So even though you're at training and it's good, but you're doing something that's really not normal. Like people normally don't train at this level. You go for an hour bike ride. You don't go for like a 16-hour bike ride as fast as you can, like in one day, right? And that's why I love you, because you do this crazy shit. But
One question I have along those lines is this might come out in a couple of weeks, but the day we're recording this, it's May 16th. The race across America starts on June 15th. So essentially, we're 1 month out. And what I've noticed from all my world record efforts, and I haven't had the benefit of function labs, I'm so glad I do now, but there's always this moment for me where you're like in this last big training block, like I'm pushing big days. Next week, I've got the 15 people that are coming out to support the project, as well as my partner in the project, Cycling Lucas, coming out to do a week-long big last training camp. Yeah. And then the first 2 weeks of June are, kind of a taper period to get ready. One thing I've noticed in myself, and I'd be curious the more scientific approach to it, is there's like this edge that I find where it's like pushing super hard versus not pushing it too far, overreaching, overtraining. And I kind of found myself, you said it about immune system, but I'd love to go a little deeper on that, because I'm curious, like, is there anything we can do sort of preventatively going, hey, we're in this last big push here? Because a lot of elite athletes, we hear this all the time, track and field athlete getting a stress fracture 2 weeks before the Olympic Games, someone getting a flu or a cold that they can't kick 5 days before the biggest performance of their life. And so I'm always a little bit cagey and nervous in this final month. Like, I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm on my bike for 16 hours and I'm fine, but I know that I'm right on that edge. And is there anything we can do to think about really, really dialing in, whether that's preventatively, immune support, for what that is in this moment?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few things. The first is take your frickin' vitamin D. And by the way, Colin, by the way, no, you're kind of late, because it takes a few months to build up. So what I want you to do is I want you to double down. I want you to take 15,000, which is a lot, for the next month to fill up your tank.
Okay.
And we'll check it again just to make sure we're not too high, because you want when you're doing that levels. But they've done studies with young healthy guys. They've done 10,000 units a day for 3 months with no adverse effects and no toxicity. So we just want to fill up your tank so your vitamin D levels high, because when your vitamin D levels as low as it is, you're much more prone to infection. That's
And
for
is it
sure.
good to spread that over the day, those 15,000, or all
No, no,
in the
no.
morning?
You can just take it all at once. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like it's fat storage, and you can even take 50,000 at once. There's prescription vitamin D that's 50,000 a week, so you can take as much as you want in a day at once. So it's not a problem. The
Okay.
other thing I would say is, yes, there are things that we can use that are adaptogenic, immune supportive herbs, and making sure your nutrients are okay. So you're taking your multivitamin, you're getting your zinc, you're getting your selenium, you're getting your vitamin C. But there are the whole cocktail of things that help support immunity that are part of the adaptogenic cocktail I gave you already, the HPA Adapt. But also, I'm going to give you an immune supportive cocktail of herbs to take as a preventive. So you've heard of echinacea. I'm not going to give you that, but there's things like that that can really be helpful. Andrographis and other herbs that I'm gonna send you in the new report after we talk, giving you what to take, because I think you're right. We see there's this sort of a boost to your immunity if you go from sedentary to exercising. But if you over exercise, it's a stress, and you will get increased oxidative stress, increased inflammation, and more likely to get sick if you're overtraining. So I think you're trying to break world records, so it's a very different thing. But you're right. A lot of people get in trouble because they don't actually take care of all the things that we're taking care of. So that's what's so great about Function. You can kind of see what's happening. You can see where you're off. You can kind of tune things up. And like I said, whether you're an elite athlete trying to break a world record, or you're just wanting to live a healthy life and be highly functional, it's a great way to know what's going on under the hood. And I think it's kind of cool because you've done a lot of world records, but we've never had the chance to actually do this together and to
No,
kind of
this
collaborate.
this is
To
amazing to have
Yeah,
this level of data. It's funny, I've been comparing, last time I was on the bike, like I said, really in a meaningful way was when I was racing for the US national team in triathlon, and I stopped racing in 2015 to take on all these big adventure challenges. And
mm,
there's a lot of things that have happened in the last 10 years. Bikes have gotten faster, wind tunnels, aerodynamics, but this level of knowledge
yeah,
of not the external, but the internal
yeah,
going in the
yeah,
body is, I mean, it's a game changer. It's truly a game changer. And I know we're kind of, this conversation skews a little bit, or it feels like it skews a little bit towards elite athleticism, but this is obviously so broadly applicable for
yeah,
optimizing. And
yeah.
the fact that I can go into a Quest lab a few days later, a week later, whatever, have such a deep snapshot of what's going on in my
Yeah.
body, it's incredible. And I mean, I literally, I look back and like, how did I train? How did I try to optimize my health without this?
Yeah,
It's
it's
hard to
totally
imagine.
true. It's totally true. And you're right. It helps everyone work, your mood, your energy, your productivity. You're able to just feel good. I mean, I laugh at a lot of how people live their lives. It's like, they want to wear the nice clothes, they get the nice skincare products. They know, like, they want to know they can look good on the outside. It's like having a race car and just paying attention to the paint. Like, rather than the engine. So, like, you got to look under the hood. And for most of us, we don't really look under the hood that often. We go to our doctor, we get a panel of labs that hasn't changed in 50 years, that doesn't really reflect what's going on. I mean, it's useful if you have some serious disease and you have leukemia, or you got renal failure or liver failure, or like something horrible. But most of the time, those labs are going to be normal or pretty normal, and they're not going to be that informative. And that's really why at Function Health, we created a panel of over 110 biomarkers that really gives you a deep dive into your metabolic health, your immune health, levels of inflammation, nutritional biomarkers, toxin biomarkers, or cardiovascular biomarkers, or hormonal biomarkers, so we can really see what's going on with you in a dynamic way. And it's like, you want to know what's going on your dashboard. You want to have a dashboard for your health. Like, you have a dashboard in your car, when you're running out of gas, when your tires need pressure, and it tells you everything, check engine light. Like, where's the check engine light on the human, right? It's like, we
No,
need
it's been
that.
amazing. I mean, when I get it back, like it used to be, you get this PDF with all, I mean, I know you look at those PDFs, it's easy for you. But I look at
Yeah.
that and I don't even know what this is. But now when it gets sent to me, I get a text message on my phone, your labs are in, I click the button and I can see really clear graphs. These have gone up, these have gone down, these are in
Yeah.
range. these need to change. Like it's amazing. It's probably worth mentioning at this point that Function Health still has very long wait list with the beta, but if you're listening to this, you could use functionhealth.com/MarkXColin to
Isn't it Mark X Colin 100 to skip
is
the
that what it
line?
is? You have it right there in front of you.
I think it's functionhealth.com. And you can use the access code Mark X Colin 100 to skip the line. So that's the promo code.
There we go. There we
Like
go.
Mark times Colin 100. That's a scary bit of math right there.
I mean, I'm waiting for you. You keep threatening to say you're gonna show up in the middle of Kansas and ride beside me. And
I'm working on it. I got your itinerary. I'm working on it. I went for a ride yesterday. I'm training.
you were just on a big bike trip yourself.
I was. I went to Menorca, but I to be honest with you, I was thinking about you yesterday because I was riding my bike. It was beautiful here in the Berkshires, and I was thinking, damn, because this young guy just kind of went by me pretty quick, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna need an electric bike to get.
Perfect. Great.
With Colin. So yeah, it's amazing. So I encourage everybody to know what's going on in their health. I mean, this series with you has just been so helpful because it shows you, like, even with someone you think is extremely healthy, there's always stuff to find, there's always things to tweak, and there's always ways to improve how you feel and your energy, and to really learn what's going on. And that's the beauty of Function Health. It allows you to get access to this without having to go through your doctor or without having to go through insurance at a really affordable price of $499 a year for twice a year testing, and you get a dashboard and a whole host of insights from experts that tell you exactly what's going on, what it means, what to do about it, how do you correct it yourself, when you need to see the doctor, and it's great. So I think, you've been the beneficiary of this, but I think, and like you said, there's about 200,000 people on the wait list. So you want to skip that and join. Just go to functionhealth.com and use the early access code Mark X Colin 100 to skip the line, and you can get right in and hopefully learn a lot about what's going on, and maybe you too can break a world record.
That's right. I'll say one last thing, which is projecting forward. But I think I'm really fascinated about our next conversation, because what we'll do is we'll get a set of labs right before I start. Then I'm going to go ride 3,000 miles, and then we're going to get a set of labs right when I finish.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
The next conversation we have hopefully will be celebrating a new world record, but from the doctor perspective, from the Function Health perspective, it's all about recovery, right? It's going to be this moment. Body has gone under extreme stress.
Yeah.
What are we facing? And maybe that stress, it's not the kind of stress that everyone sees, but we all go through periods of emotional, physical stress in our life, and having Function as a tool to say, hey, how can I snap back the fastest? What does my body need? So I'm very, very curious to see what we'll find and what we'll be discussing on the backside of this big effort in a month.
Me too, man. I can't wait to see, and I know you're going to crush it, and I'll definitely be on the other side to pick up the pieces. and I'll send you a note of what to take for your immune system, because definitely you want to be on something.
Perfect. Thank you, my friend. Always a pleasure.
All right, buddy. And don't forget your vitamin D, because I can see you're not listening to me on the lab tests.
Got it. Noted.
All right, man. Love you, and good luck with your training. Good luck with your
just another
race.
5 hours today. No big deal.
Okay.
I'm in the home run stretch. Casual 5 more hours.
All right. Have fun. Watch a good movie, maybe. All right. Bye, Colin.